Yes, the mighties are beginning to fall. That is the nature of our Federation Cup. That is the presidential FA Cup. We saw Rivers United, of course, going down the drain. Funny enough, from like two teams from the same owner have actually stole the dreams of Rivers United. Remo stopping Rivers from winning the league, and now beyond limits have also limited Rivers from the FA Cup. You're welcome to your favorite Nigerian Football League story on 3M Sport channel. Like Akinami is my name, and of course, bringing back my twin striker, the person of Peter Lai. Welcome back to the studio.
Thank you very much.
Of course, like you just went awoo, and of course, had so much fun. So chubby cheeks coming out.
Thank you.
I think we're back to business again, and we're talking about the FA Cup, talking about the Nigerian Women Football League, Nigerian National League, and of course, also be looking at the Spy Eagles briefly. And we'll be having some guests, some big names, of course, are coming on to talk about the FA Cup and also the Nigerian Women Football League. Let's go straight to business as usual. And of course, we'll start first with the Super Eagles rating. Yes, Super Eagles, funny enough, I didn't expect that, but they went a step higher. But of course, they are now the sixth in Africa, of course, from 44 to 43. And that's a good one, despite the poor performance against Zimbabwe. Morocco is number one in Africa as it is right now. And of course, Senegal are second. Egypt third. Algeria are fourth in Africa. Cote d'Ivoire are fifth. Nigeria is sixth, like I said. And we have Tunisia seventh. Cameroon eighth. Mali nine. And South Africa are 10th best in Africa. And of course, we're just hoping that with more matches, what matters to us is the World Cup. The rating, we don't care about the rating. For me, I've never for once looked at the rating. What matters most is the result turn out during matches, and of course to make Nigerians happy. Nigerians are beginning to lose hope in the Super Eagles, and like I would say, there's still something needs to be done because we still believe that there's a kebab actually handling the list of players called to come, and also even the lineup. I want to be out. For me personally, I feel there's something about the lineup and something about those being called to come.
Certainly.
To be done.
Certainly.
So well, let's quickly move now to the Nigerian the FA Cup, Federation Cup of Cup. Of course, here we have Chikelu Elelosi, former international. Of course, we'll be coming on to talk about how it was in those days. But before then, let's quickly look at the results of the round of 32. We also look at the fixtures for round of 16. And so let's quickly look at the results of the round of 32. Peter La, please give us the results.
For the fixtures.
The result of the let me give you the results first. I think for Beyond Limits, like I said, defeated Rivers 2-1. That was a shocking result. And the Lobby Stars, of course, as usual, they lost to Solution FC 1-2. Somebody said the Lobby played well, but they lost well. What matters most to people is the result. They're last on the table and they're out of the FA Cup as a team. So it shows that they are actually not doing too good. But like according to the guy, the Lobby team played well. So which means the new coach, if I want advice, should be retained and for them to build a new team for the national league. Because already it's too late for them to start thinking about swimming out of the delegation to the national league. They lost 1-2 to Solution FC in the FA Cup. Ikorodu defeated Crown FC 3-1. Sunshine lost to Plateau 1-0. Rangers defeated Atlanta 5-2 on penalty after a 1-1 draw. And of course, Abakaliki also surprised Katsina United, beating them 3-2 on penalty after a goalless draw. It was Bayelsa 2, Barcelona 0 here in Katsina. And of course, anybody defeated Academy 1-0. And it was Jets also lost to Aqua United. Boboya has promised to win a continental ticket by winning the FA Cup. Let's see if it will happen that way. And the United defeated Eward 4-2 on penalties after a 1-1 draw. And it was Nasarawa 5, the really big team that actually showed their class, beating Ijele FC 5-0. And of course, Benin Insurance said Adama 3-0. And of course, Wiki was actually at the 1-goal win over Rovers United. And of course, it was Inter Lagos and that went through by taking out the Dam. Now the fixtures for round of 16.
All right. The fixtures for round of 16, the FA Cup is scheduled to be as follows: Benders Insurance against Rangers International, Solution FC against Kwara United, Nasarawa United against Bayelsa United, Plateau United versus Osun United, Aqua United versus Inter Lagos. Eyimba FC will be welcoming Abakaliki FC, Warri Wolves against Wiki Tourists, and then Ikorodu City against Beyond Limits.
Well, before we move to the next story, let's now bring on Chikelu Elenosi. I'm sure he's on with us there, or I think he's yet to join us. Is there? Okay, he's here to join us. Of course, he's supposed to come and tell us how it was in those days in the FA Cup, doing their explain days like Launa Chikelu Elenosi actually played for several teams here in Nigeria. Of course, he actually played for teams like Wanyaun Rangers International. He played for Naples Enugu. He also played for Julius Berger. And of course, he played for Fenerbahce in abroad, played for the under 17 under Coach Wanyamu, and was also a player under, he played for Flying Eagles and of course under 23 team and had 15 caps for 5 years. When you come on, of course, we will link you up with him. But before that, let's quickly now go to the Nigerian Women Football League. Of course, going into the round of 11, 4 matches to go. And of course, a team like Edo United are already through to the Super Six, and of course, they want to retain the trophy they won last season. And of course, let's just give you the result of week 10. Peter.
All right, Edo Queens defeated Heartland 2-0. Ekiti Queens lost at home against Remo Stars Ladies. Nasarawa United went at home 2-0 against Abia Angels. Conference Queens 0-0 against Danas Ladies. Adamawa Queens 1-3 against Robo Queens. Benue Queens had a 1-1 draw against Delta Queens. Rivers Angels won 2-0 against Niger Reptiles. And then Bayelsa Queen won 3-0 against Ibom Angels.
And of course, on the table as it is right now, on the table, the Group A, I think
on Group A, we have Edo Queens topping the table with 26 points after playing 10 matches. Remo Stars Ladies with 25 points coming second. Nasarawa United third, having 21 points. Fourth position is Abia Angels FC with 16 points. Ekiti Queens with 9 points. Heartland Queens with 8 points. Danas Ladies with 6 points. And then on the relegation zone, Conference Queens with 4 points. And then in Group B, where we have Bayelsa Queens topping the table with 26 points. And then the runners-up Rivers Angels too with the same points, 26 points. And then FC Robo Queens with 16 points. Niger Reptiles with 16 points. And then Delta Queens with 11 points. Ibom Angels with 10 points. Adamawa Queens with 7 points. And then on the relegation zone, there is Benue Queens with just 1 point.
Yes, of course. Like you know, Benue Queens got up first. They have got their first points in their own match just this weekend when they actually played a 1-1 draw with Delta. And of course, it was a very tight one. They went down first, of course, to the goal scored by Destiny Obo, and of course, the equalizer came through a penalty for them through Joy. This is the first minute. So that's the first point for Benue. We, of course, were supposed to bring on Coach Leadi. I don't know if he's supposed to come on here and also talk with us about their plans to escape relegation if they can. And of course, it was also like I said, Edo is already in. They've already gotten their distance to the Super Six with their points they have right now. Of course, there's 8 wins and 2 draws. That's a good one. And of course, this weekend will be a tight one for them against Remo. Yeah. And so far, of course, like I said, in Group A now, Remo, of course, will play Edo, and Danas, of course, will play Ekiti. And then Nasarawa will welcome Conference Queens to Lafia, while Atlan will travel to Abia. Of course, they're not too far from each other. And in that last match in Group A. And for Group B, of course, FC Robo will host Rivers. When will Rivers and Bayelsa lose? We're still waiting. 4 matches to go. I will play Adeyemo. I think Adekaye, of course, like Adekaye of Robo has remained a very, very consistent player. He scored 2 goals in their away win against Adama. I think we have somebody there with us. I think that should be Coach Bashir Laidi. Coach Bashir Laidi, of course, is the chief coach of Benue Queens. And like I said, they got their first win. They got their first win for first point in their match against Delta at home. They get forcing Delta to a 1-1 draw. Coach Bashir, you are welcome to the studio. We're on to Nigeria football stories on 3M Sports channel. Hello, Coach Bashir. You can unmute yourself. Coach Bashir, Ladi. Unmute yourself. Can you hear us? Hello, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Your mic is mute. Your mic is mute. Unmute yourself. Yes, Kotali, you're welcome to Nigerian Football League Stories on 3M Sports Channel.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Yes, your team, Benin Queens, got a first point, just over the weekend against the Delta Stars, and of course, a lot of people thought that the team will go all those without getting a point, but you got the first point. Of course, you refuse your girls to go on break, and of course, I think the results are showing. I still did hope. Do you still have hope? Do you think Benin Queens can escape relegation? 4 matches to go.
Well, coming into the league for the first time, it was a different ballgame entirely. So we had some issues after the championship. So coming this far is not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. Starting from we are unable to do our kind of pre-season, but then we know the task ahead and we put our head to it. So it's a big challenge to us that okay, how do we cope at the top level? We prepare our mind, especially we prepare our mind, and then begin to look for the players to do the job for us. But well, it's all about experience. We are unable to get the kind of players we wanted, but then the ones we have, they are beginning to adapt to the standard of the league up there. So that's why you see from the last game we were able to pick a point. It was one of those lack of experience. If not, so we have had supposed to have been a winning match for us. So I think we are moving up.
How will you describe the organization of the Nigerian Women Football League and officiating generally this season?
Please come again.
How will you describe the organization, of course, of the Nigerian Women Football League and also looking at officiating this season? How will you rate them?
Well, so far so good. The league is always going higher, and it's always higher demand. You see, even teams that we don't even believe that could do one or two things, they are doing it. And well, officiating, I can see give about 70 to 80%. So the league is improving and is going higher, and I believe we can still do more. It's all about the stakeholders, not just only the league, but we, the coaches, the club, the administrators. We can improve.
I think we just lost the network issue. We just lost clarity to the network, and of course, when I bring him back, it comes back. Well, let's quickly move to the next topic, of course, for today. Of course, the Nigerian National League, just like it has been on break for a long time, and a lot of people, of course, are not really happy that the National League. Okay, Kudai is back. Sorry, yeah, you can go on.
Yeah, so the league is the league very, very high. And even if you say in Africa, Nigeria, the NWFL is still one of the best. So far, so good. From the big team and the small team, everybody is trying to prove one or two things. So the league is going up. The officiating, so far, so good, 75 to 80%. Definitely, you cannot have 100% officiating. So it's good. We are going up. And I believe all the whole stakeholders, the teams, the board, players, administrators, we can improve the league better.
Yeah, on a personal note, you've handled a male team, of course. I've known you for long in Oshu, and now you're handling a female team. That's a personal note. Which one do you think is more difficult?
Well, I started with a male team even before I came into Oshu. Later, Oshu Prime Football Club in the Premier League before they changed the name to Oshu United. Then I dive into Women's League. So I've always had this passion for women team. So right from day one. So when I was in Lagos, my house is just a stone throw to Jagede Queen's camp. So I'm always with them, interact with them. So I develop passion for them. From there, it's okay, let me dive into women football. So, but then the experience are quite different. The experience are quite different. If you are outside the women football team, you only think it's easy. But when you get to that place, you discover it's a different ball game. I believe women coaches supposed to be paid more, women coaches more than the coaches that handle male football. Because see, if you what you teach, what you can tell a male player within 2-3 days for them to get, it take you months of repetition before the women players can assimilate it. Assimilation is one, then application into the game situation. No, that is where the problem lies. So, but we have some fast learners among them, and you also have low learners. So you have to be able to manage the two together for you to get what you want. So it's not ever an easy thing to train to handle a female team, but then there were an interesting people to work with.
Before you go, can you single out a player that you've played against this season that actually has been exceptional in your group? A player.
You said?
Can you single out a player that has been exceptional this season among the teams you've played against? A player that has been exceptional.
Well, you can. Yes, you can pick a lot of them, but I'm going to pick out this Adegbuyi. I think Oluwakemi. That's very young lad from Robo. So very fast winger, very fast, dynamic player who can maneuver any player from anywhere. So it's a very good player. I've known her when she was still maybe around like 11 or 12 years. I've been following her progress at Robo. So today he has matured into the league and can play any team against anybody, any player. So I think he has been a wonderful player that I really pick out as an exceptional player. So far, so good in the whole matches we have played.
Thank you so much, Coach Ladi, for coming on this program. And of course, at any time, we can always call you. We always call you on, of course, to be of support to this group.
Thank you. You are welcome. Thank you. Yeah, bye.
That was Coach Ladi of Benue Queens. Of course, they just got their points, first points in about 10 matches just last week. And well, like you said, a new team coming from the championship into the Premier League. Of course, it was quite difficult. Really, it's a solid side. But I know that as time goes on, of course, they'll get to them from their mistakes. Well, let's quickly. I don't think Chikelu Elenusi is not here with us. Let's quickly move now to the Nigerian National League. Like we all know that Yobe Stars, actually, the team got an accident. So, they're way to play Kebbi. And I think we just pray and that they're all doing well now. Because like you know that the NNL has been on break. And for matches we played this weekend into Monday. Kada Warriors, of course, we're playing against Basira, and the 4 points difference between them and the team topping the table, and they still believe they can actually get promotion from that group. Well, before we go, let's also talk about the fact that Kaduna United is back, and of course, Kaduna State is beginning to get agitated on how to get a team back in the Premier League, and of course, new team, of course, that people will be looking up to ensure that United do well come this season in NLO. Of course, the chairman is Elias Yaya. Of course, we have Adamu Hussein as the vice chairman. Jide Bodunde is the secretary of the team. Yao Inu as team manager. Of course, you also have Alami as the team coordinator. And of course, Shola Adewi, well known the coach who has handled the Aqua, he has handled the Kogi United. He has also worked with Remo Stars. So various things, a very good coach. We call him Tiki Taka. Coach Shola Dewi, of course, will be the chief coach of Kaduna United, and we have Joshua Paul as assistant coach. Another Karim Abdikadir is also one of the assistant coaches. Why Hamza Lawal is the trainer. Now let's move quickly, of course, to the Nigeria Premier League before we finally, of course, say goodbye. Of course, we all know that the Nigeria Premier League is moving towards its end, moving to the week 32 this weekend, and already we have Remo, of course, running away with the title, of course, with 60 points. We still have an outstanding against Lobby that we played on the 10th, and of course, we also have another outstanding for University Katsina we played on the 9th. So these 4 teams are outstanding, and as it is on the table, of course, Remo are topping with 60 points. Rivers are second there with 52 points. Abia third with 50 points. Brescia fourth with 47 points, and you have Rangers 45 points, 45 points, and at the bottom, Lobby are sure to go to the NNL come next season. Of course, Sunshine, second to last with 35 points, 34 points. You have Atlant with 35 points and the National 36 points. But this weekend matches will be a very interesting one because all the matches, about three of them are actually will decide a lot. The match between Nasarawa and Aqua United. Nasarawa are fifth to the last on the table, and the fourth last on the table, they will play Aqua, who have 37 points, Nasarawa have 36 points, and of course, a win for Nasarawa will further pull Aqua down. Aqua, who under Bogoye have actually improved so much, and of course, you're also thinking about winning FA Cup, and today is very tight one. Nasarawa Aqua. Do you think Aqua can put a surprise in Nasarawa?
Well, I've gone through the table and I've checked their previous performance. You want to agree with me that it's going to be a tug of war, but I see Nasarawa coming out to pick a point. So I'm seeing that game is going to end a draw.
It ends in a draw, then Aqua, of course, will start having that hope of escaping relegation. You also have Castina playing Bayelsa. Atlant will play Welcome Pillars to their own ground. 3SC, Ikorodu match will be under star match. Ikorodu 45 points, 3SC for 7 points. They are both looking for an opportunity to come third, of course, or second, so they can go continental. And of course, 3SC will be at home. That will be a very the other match, of course, is very explosive, and of course, the result will determine a lot for the two teams. Lobby plays Sunshine. Pensions will welcome Rangers to Ebini. Tornadoes in Kaduna will play El Kanemi, and of course, Tornadoes and El Kanemi, they are both the two teams are not also that safe, so it's a crucial one also. Plateau will welcome Kwara to like Jos, while Enyimba will host Abia in the local derby. Rivers will play Remo, another interesting match, and just remember that Beyond Limits, a team owned by the same owner, Remo Stars, Kunle Tsunami, of course, Remo Rivers will play Remo, and Remo, of course, want to increase the gap between them and Rivers to at least book to make it clear that yes, this time around it's going to be their own trophy. Remo have really tried in the last 3-4 years. They came third 3 seasons ago, and they've been second twice in the last 2 seasons, and now coming top almost from the mid-season of this period shows how determined they are now to pick this trophy this season. So it's going to be an interesting weekend matches for Nigerians, and so just ask everyone in every venue, of course, to go all out, support your team, and of course make Nigerian football league an interesting one. Of course, crowd, like I said, will always bring sponsors. So if you all go all out, you'll be surprised that companies want to associate with the clubs or the league itself, because everybody wants crowd, and companies also, of course, want to associate with where we have crowd. So go all out, support your team, so that there can be more money in the sector. GDP will increase, employment will also increase, and of course, I tell you, Nigerian football sector will be one of the biggest sector in Nigerian economy. I think with that, we want to say thank you for staying glued to Freedom Sport Channel, listening to Nigerian football stories. Peter La, good, of course, having you back into the studio.
It's really very nice to come back to the studio. For our viewers, please, let's keep on supporting Nigerian sports.
So go click like on our station, then of course subscribe so I can get your stories as soon as it's been uploaded. Thank you for staying glued to the station. And of course, I want to say happy birthday to the FA chairman of Plateau State, Suleiman Kwakwande. Today is his birthday, and of course, we're just flying to Jos. And also, on our staff here, Israel Destiny. Of course, he didn't tell us his age, but I think from the studio, we're going somewhere, of course, to go and celebrate his birthday. So Destiny, happy birthday, and of course, wishing you many more years, many more years, of course, as year goes by. And of course, not to forget the man behind the scene, Emmanuel Samuel. He's been doing a great job for us alongside Peter Nosakari. Thank you for staying with the station. See you next.